he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, how are you doing today? Welcome to the think tank. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Let's check here, guys.
Bringing in additional resources to make sure that the fugitive doesn't make it to Delaware. And I'm going to see if we can see the command center from here, which we can't. So when we get close to the command center, it's probably going to cut out, just so you guys know. And if it cuts out, I'm probably going to be back in about 15 minutes. I'm going to go to a better spot. It's odd.
Hello.
The signal cuts off. So we're going to try to get, once again, we're going to try to pull in and see if the signal stays. So right up here is where the command center is, right in front of me, right over here. So as soon as we make this right at the light, there's a command center set up right on the premises of Longwood Gardens. So I'm about to pull in, and let's see. You guys can see the command center from here. Let's pull to this side for a second. You guys can see the command center getting geared up. I can't go up on the grass over here, but watch yourself. I can't go on the grass, but that's the command center that's posting up. They have federal agents. So you guys can see that there are trucks that say police. I'm sorry that it's shaky, but I don't have the tripod set up in the car. So the command center is right over here, and that looks like where the tractor trailers are gearing up for something. They brought tractor trailers with a lot of gear, tactical vests, computers, all kinds of stuff that I'm assuming they're going to use in connection to the manhunt. Now, to our left, that road is closed with police presence. Yesterday, there was only one officer down there. Today, there are 5 that are blocking that road. And this command center looks like it's for the federal government and state government, not for any local law enforcement. There are a lot of federal agents in that area right now, but as soon as we pull in, the service goes away. So what we're trying to do is give you guys a little shot from here. And what I'll do is, if the service goes away when we pull in, and CERT just passed us, you guys can see CERT. CERT is heading into the command center. So that's that green van that you guys have been seeing, and that green van indicates the CERT team. Every time that green van is deployed, it's the CERT team that comes off. So right now, CERT has arrived to the command center. I'm unsure if that means that they are gearing up for an active search or if they're just going to do a push or a sweep through the woods. So again, we're at Longwood Gardens. The gardens are open today, despite the fugitive being seen here. I guess they have a reason to believe that he's not at the garden. So the command center is right here on the property. Now, yesterday, all of these roads were closed. This road was closed and that road was closed. That one is still closed. And there were police cars that were blocking this. So today there are no police cars or road barriers for that road. So it's open, but you could only stick around for about a minute or two before you're likely asked to leave. We're not going to pull into the command center for obvious reasons. So I'm going to try to go in closer for you guys to see. And if you don't see and it gets blurry and cuts out, what we're gonna do is quickly grab a video, like a little bit. It's called B-roll, just to show you guys a general idea of what it looks like. Probably a 20-second clip. I'll put it up, and then we'll go back live from another location. Likely, we're gonna drive around like we did yesterday and look for the best spot. So, again, they brought in 30 agents from that BORTAC team overnight. They came under the cover of darkness, essentially, and they touched ground late last night. And they brought with them 4 Blackhawks that are here for the investigation. And the Blackhawks should be in the air within the next few hours, from what I understand. Today is the day that they are really bringing in the manpower, and it's sort of unprecedented.
I think that it just might be a long day as far as this goes, that they just might catch them. So I tell you what, I will absolutely be on this as long as they are showing what they're doing and we're able to see what's going on.
So these guys are with Customs and Border Patrol, but they assist law enforcement in high-risk situations that have a very dangerous, it could be very dangerous to the community. That's why they're here. And they also want to make sure that this guy doesn't cross into Delaware. We're only 5 minutes from Delaware and about 10 minutes, as I said before, from the president's Delaware home. So if he goes toward Delaware, that might be a problem for him regardless, given the security around the home of the president. But they don't want him to leave this area. They don't want him to go to Delaware. So they are really zeroing in with every single resource. And I hear choppers. I'm not sure if it's a news helicopter above us, but they're really gearing up. And this is the longest I've seen them gearing up for. I mean, they're unloading tractor trailers and they're getting ready for something. So we're going to pull in right now. And if it loses, we'll be back in about 15 minutes, but I'll grab a video of it. Okay. So we're going to head in right now. Let's pull in. And if it cuts out, just be ready for it to cut out, just so you guys know. And yeah, they were searching trains this morning. And then, as you guys know, last night there was police activity. As we were getting ready to leave, a call came in from the command center. I got a text that said that there's going to be activity related to the investigation there. They didn't give me much information except for responding, and it's in connection to the manhunt. And it was on Fairville Road and Chad's Ford. Now,
if you're on Twitter,
beat the police
you want
to the
to
location.
find Nik The Hat
here's the command center,
and subscribe. This is where this is coming from, and the guy's amazing. There's command center.
And turn around. Make a U-turn.
It is hard to say, hear me roar. I apologize. I can't even boost it up.
So you guys can see that it's, and that's the officers I'm talking about across the way. Did the service stay? Were you guys able to hear fine? Because if you were, we're gonna pull up and we're gonna park there for a second.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Dandy. You're so awesome.
Okay, so let's do that again. We're gonna make the left over the bridge again. So so it worked. Okay, so what we're gonna do then is we're gonna park up and we're gonna get a better shot. We just did a little loop, so
I'm still watching for the press conference.
Flags over there for them to ask us to leave, because we wanted to, if it didn't work, we were going to come back and get a clip and then upload that to Twitter and then come to another scene. So since it worked, we're going to make a left, do that little loop around Longwood Gardens once more and pull back in. And I'll be able to stand there for about 3 minutes to try to get as much as we can without any interference, obviously. But there are no police behind us guarding this area, and there are no road closed signs. So the road is not restricted, and I've been saying this for the past 7 days. We're not going to go in any restricted areas. Last night, when we responded to that potential, I don't know if it was a sighting, I don't know what it was. We beat the police there, so there was no perimeter, and that wasn't our intention. So we were going to get out of the neighborhood, and that's when 3 state troopers pulled up to us, and they didn't know where they were. They asked us if we knew how to get to 1217 Fairville. They obviously, I guess, don't have GPS, so they started driving off. And then more state troopers asked us again, do you guys know how to get to that location? And that's been a problem that we've been seeing for days, where there have been troopers that are so far away from this area that don't know where they are, and they have no clue about the neighborhood, that's why it's crucial to keep local law enforcement in the loop, which they did last night. But I'm not sure what happened at that location and if it panned out to be anything. But throughout the night, there were planes hovering around in circles for hours on end with helicopters. So it was very fluid in some
Hello, Nik The Hat.
sense. And the police
Come on, buddy. You got
response
this.
was rather quick. We were close by. That's why we beat the police there. We were finishing our driving tour to show you guys the neighborhood and show you the route that he might have like not show you the route, but show you why it's so hard to find somebody like this with all of the brush and with all of the woods and the heavy shrubs and I mean everything. It's very dense. So we showed you guys that, and as we were leaving, the call came in. It's cutting in and out. Okay, so it's probably this spot. So we're gonna do one more lap. And yeah, that's what I'm hearing, that they're not letting independent journalists in, which is very bizarre. Actually, I've never heard of that at a press conference. Really, even at like White House
Oh,
press
wow.
you're able, if you go through the clearance, you're able to get credentials to go. So it's really weird that they're restricting it, and it's almost like they want the questions to be limited to what narrative I guess they want to have, or they don't want random citizens in there because of the media presence and that there are cameras live just in case somebody says something that can be offensive and scream something. That could be the reason why they're restricting access, but I'm not even going, and I doubt they would. I don't know if they would restrict my access. I haven't tried. I don't think they would. So, but that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that they are not letting independent journalists in to the presser, which is fine. At the presser, we went, we got what we wanted, and that was about it. I told you from the outset, we're not really here to go to the press conferences, and we're not here to cover the any of the press conferences. I mean, there's enough media there that the updates are in real time, and you guys can watch it live from their feed much better than you'd be able to watch on this feed. My purpose was only to ask and pose certain questions that the community wanted answered. So I went, I did that, and that was it. So we did what we wanted to do, and I have no intention of even going to the command center, or I'm sorry, to the press conference. So we're going to pull back in toward the command center, and if they don't want people at the command center, they would have a roadblock, so they don't.
I am still looking, guys.
So again, the command center is right here in front of us. So we're going to turn back in, and we're going to park for about
You know how they are.
And
minute to go.
And then head out.
Thank you to Nik The Hat.
Go to that exit sign. So as you guys
He is in
see,
the description.
It's pretty fluid. Don't stop. Stop here, and I'm gonna give the phone over to you and get a shot. So Hong is showing you guys the command center. You guys can see it's pretty fluid. They're prepping for something. The tractor trailer seems to have moved. There was a tractor trailer here when we initially tried to show you guys earlier, but it's
Joining me today is District Attorney Deb Ryan and Chief County Detective David Sassa. As you know, on the morning of Thursday, August 31st, inmate Danilo Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Prison. As an update, earlier today, we had a possible sighting of Cavalcante by a person in the vicinity of Longwood Gardens. A search of that area has been underway for the past few hours and continues at
And that place is open, didn't they just say?
Our search perimeter remains unchanged, with the exception that we have thoroughly searched the area around 2 elementary schools previously contained within the perimeter and have adjusted the perimeter to exclude both schools from the perimeter area. We've done this in an effort to minimize the impact on students and their families while we continue with our search efforts. The district attorney and I have an ongoing dialogue with school districts in the area and are committed to providing them the most up-to-date information so they can make informed decisions about school operations. I've told you all previously that we're utilizing hundreds of state, local, and federal law enforcement officers, canines, aviation assets, and various types of technology in an effort to keep the community safe and to bring this to as swift of a conclusion as possible.
On day 8.
I'd like to provide the media and the public an opportunity for some insight of the scope of the operation that we've put in place.
Mhm.
Following the press conference today, I'll provide you all details of how we can make that happen. As a reminder, we're asking the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and description of Cavalcante, to check security cameras they have, and to call us immediately if they believe they may have seen him. Again, we ask residents to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and other unknown supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity that he might have to get anything more. It is very important we keep the pressure on him as we continue this hunt. Cavalcante is considered extremely dangerous, and there is a reward excuse me, of up to $20,000 offered for information leading to the capture of Cavalcante. Anyone with information is asked to call our tip line at 717-562-2987, 717-562-2987. I continue to thank the community for their support and for allowing us the latitude to do our jobs while they deal with what I know are extremely stressful circumstances. We appreciate you all more than you know. And I wanted to also, because we've had a number of inquiries, I mentioned an injury to one of our tactical dogs the other day, Loki, and I wanted to provide you all just a brief update. He is doing well, has been released from the hospital earlier today, and is expected to make a full recovery and return to work within the next week. And with that, we will be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Can you provide some details of the Longwood Gardens event? We saw the helicopter drop very low right off the deck and seemed to try to spread the underbrush there.
So an individual reported that that he had seen someone matching that description, and he provided us a location that he had seen them running through that area, and so searchers have gone to that area. We're using people on foot. We have horses out there as well that are assisting with the search, tactical teams, and of course the aviation assets that you mentioned.
How big is that area? How close is this search to that trail camera location?
It's
Follow the
not very far
water.
from that location.
Which schools were removed from the search?
That was the Greenwood Elementary and Chad's Ford Elementary.
So how big is this radius now that we're looking at? I mean, initially it started within that 2-mile radius, then it moved to Longwood, then it was sort of
Yes.
east. Can you give us just an exact distance that you're searching over the entire
Yes,
footprint?
it's about an 8 to 10 square mile area that we're looking at right now. It's a couple of miles across, but the total mileage would be about 8 to 10 square miles.
Is there any validity, is there any validity that he was actually at Walmart in East Marble Township? There was reported sightings there.
I'm aware of that report, and we do not believe that was him.
And given the newly released footage yesterday of his escape, he is so agile. Has law enforcement been looking up in trees and the foliage? Have you all been looking into stormwater management within these neighborhoods? And then also, have you been going door to door in various neighborhoods for welfare checks?
Yes, to all of those. It's been a very thorough search.
Carol, do you have a strategy for preventing him from escaping via Franky Line Creek, which runs all the way to the Delaware River?
We do.
Can you elaborate on that?
No.
Colonel, what time was the sighting near Longwood reported?
Just before noon. Yes,
Yeah, they brought the horses in
He's within
today, I
this 8
think.
to 10-mile perimeter that you've set up.
I have every reason to believe.
My
that
volume's
it's within the
cranked,
perimeter.
guys.
You can tell us why you have every reason to believe, sir.
We have had no sightings outside of that area. We have maintained as secure a perimeter as we possibly could. And then as recently as today, we have another reported sighting.
What are the current sides of your
So it is bordered on the north by 926,
Nice.
by 100 or Creek Road, on the south by Hillendale, and on the west by 52.
Colonel, how much bigger is this perimeter today than say last Friday?
It is larger. I couldn't tell you what the difference in size is, though, off the top of my head.
But this is the same as yesterday, right?
It is.
So is there any evidence that he has obtained view on that?
I do not have any evidence to that effect, sir.
With the mushroom with the mushroom.
I'm sorry, just-
mushroom
just-
festival returning this
I'm
weekend,
sorry, just a minute, ma'am.
You mentioned the heat. We obviously know it had an effect on the canine officer. Is there any truth that the heat may have impacted thermal cameras at the prison that may have been heated or did not have been working at the time the Cavalcante escaped?
I couldn't speak to what effect anything would have on the cameras at the prison.
Can you talk about the effect on the, can you talk about the effect on the law enforcement?
He gets overwhelmed, it seems.
Oh, it makes it very challenging. You know, certainly all of you have been out in this weather, high temperatures, high humidity. They're wearing, you know, uniforms with bullet-resistant vests, carrying a lot of equipment. It certainly adds to the challenge. With that said, I have not heard a single complaint, and I believe our people are up to the task. But
Do they get some break time, cool down time, water break?
if someone needs it, we absolutely get them some rest. But typically, what we've been doing is we're transporting fluids, food, those kinds of things to sustain them and keep them well hydrated out to their locations. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much. Two questions here. The Mushroom Festival returns for the 28th year in Pettit Square, which is a couple miles from East Marble, Longwood Gardens. The Mushroom Festival will return as planned. Our law enforcement, state agencies, federal agencies working very closely with local police to ensure that the escapee will not go towards the borough, because some people are planning not to attend this year due to the escaped convict, even though he has not been spotted there. So any thoughts on that?
Well, we're working very hard to capture the escaped convict and not allow him to go anywhere.
And then last
But along with that, yes, we are well aware of that festival, and we are working with authorities, a number of authorities, law enforcement, emergency management, and so forth. To try and
I
make
bet you
sure
guys
that,
hear me
people feel
moving
very
around.
safe
I'm so
at the
sorry.
festival.
And last question, in terms of how technology has changed from 1999 when Norman Johnson escaped, he was here for about 3 weeks in Chester County, again back in 1999. How has technology changed that is supporting efforts to find him? Any thoughts on that?
As with your cell phone, it's changed dramatically in that amount of time. And so we take advantage of some of the latest state-of-the-art options that are available. And so when I've mentioned here before, we use a wide array of technology. We have a number of federal partners here with us that I've talked about previously. All of the assets of all of our agencies are brought to bear.
If Mud Creek Road is the eastern perimeter, how did you decide to remove Chatsford Elementary School from the search area?
We carved it out by putting additional officers around there. We cleared that property and then put officers around it so that we could carve that piece out.
The property at the school?
Yes, sir.
Colonel, as you know, another prisoner escaped earlier this year from Warren County.
Yes.
And was found some days later hiding out in the woods. So it seems like there's sort of a parallel to be drawn here between the two different types of manhunts. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on how that situation compares to the search now, and if there are sort of differences between the two that explain the challenge that you're experiencing here.
You know, and those are two of the more recent, this one and that are two of the more recent examples that we've had. There are similarities between any situation for a manhunt like this. So we try to learn something from each of those.
I think they were
incidents that
adding a
handled,
lot of
take from
cameras,
that
but
how
I'm
to
not
run a
exactly
smoother
sure if it
operation.
went into
Our
town.
partners, in many cases, are the same. In fact, some of the people that are here from the federal agencies are some of the same teams and resources. I was on the Warren County search as well. So there's some of the same resources. Again, all of us take lessons learned from it. We adapt those to the different circumstances we find. And, you know, there are different challenges with every particular search. If we moved 20 miles down the road, there would perhaps be some different challenges than what we have here. We would adjust to those.
Colonel,
Yes, sir.
there's been some speculation at the beginning that the heat-seeking technology, thermal imaging technology we use is not working because it's so hot. Is that correct? Is all the technology you're using in that regard working the way it should because of the heat?
It is.
It is. There's no
Weather can
Has a minimal
certainly,
effect.
no, weather can certainly have an impact on it, but it does not take that technology out of the game at all. At times, to use the example of thermal imaging, you can get some additional hotspots, rocks, different things like that can cause a hotspot, but it requires you to check a few more things, but it does not diminish our desire to use it.
Lieutenant, are you concerned that he is growing more desperate and yet more dangerous the time that he spends out in this weather and being hunted by you?
I believe he becomes more desperate. I believe he has always been very dangerous, and I've said that from the start. He's already murdered 2 people, one in Brazil and one here in a very brutal manner. He's a very dangerous individual, and he remains so.
But now he wants to keep away from you.
Is this the 8th confirmed sighting, or are there more? And can you kind of walk us through those 8? Because it seems like he's going back and forth, or are we out of order on the sighting?
I don't have all of those other sightings here in front of me, but I can get that for you, and we can talk about it another time. But yes,
But 8 is correct?
yes, sir, it would be 8.
What about homes? I know you've checked some homes before. Are you going back and rechecking homes? And if nobody's home, what are you doing? Are you checking with relatives just to make sure he's not in there?
We are checking homes. We're talking to neighbors if we don't find somebody at that home, and then each one is handled on an individual basis. We typically can check, tax records, county records, to try and find an owner if we're just completely unsuccessful. But the biggest thing we look for immediately while we're there is any sign at all of forced entry. And we have found some open homes, and in those cases we try to obtain permission. Otherwise, through exigent circumstances, we can at least make sure that that home is not occupied by
Is there
him.
indication that he's gotten into any of these homes? I mean, we've had people contact us saying they believe things have been taken or moved. On your end?
I have not been able to confirm a single case to this point. It doesn't mean he hasn't, but I have not been able to confirm a single
The
case.
family
Where he's
said he
going
was
with that at this point?
downstairs when they were upstairs. The family said that they.
Yes. Yes.
That's not a confirmed like entry.
I don't doubt that someone was down there. I cannot confirm that it was him.
So if
That
doesn't
doesn't
sound
sound- Have additional special forces arrived, sir?
We have had tactical teams from all over the country come in and continue to come in. We have some additional resources that are arriving today, and part of the team arrived yesterday and will arrive today, and will become operational by tomorrow. So one of the things when I talk about after the press conference being able to give you some additional insight of how we can do this, we'll have an opportunity to talk about some of those teams tomorrow and give you some idea. I think, and I'll come back to some of your questions here in a minute, but I think what I would like you all to see is that there is an amazing operation going on here. There's a collaboration between local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. This is not simply a situation where we have a police dispatcher sitting and taking a call and dispatching a police car to go and follow this up. It is a very sophisticated, well-staffed operation that I believe, again, when you have an opportunity to see some of that, there are some portions obviously that I can't show you everything, but I think you would have an opportunity to see enough of it to truly come away with an understanding of the effort that is being made to ensure that we end this as quickly as possible, to ensure
No.
the safety of the community. We absolutely understand their concern. I get it as a parent, why other parents are concerned about their children going to school, playing in the yard, all of those kinds of things. Again, having been involved in a number of these searches, it is the same with every one of those. And we want to end this as quickly as possible. We'll throw every available resource at it to do
Do
it.
you still have a sense of
What
where?
is your confidence knowing that he's going back and forth from the same places again and again? What does that do to bolster some morale out here? Does it bolster? And what does that mean for your containment area?
There is no impact on morale, as I said a few minutes ago. I have yet to hear a single complaint. I interact with our people. We have shift changes where we brief out, outgoing troopers and officers. The morale is high, and I talk to them when they come in after a lengthy shift and working in these conditions. Morale remains high. These are people who are volunteering to come here, many from out of the area, who are volunteering. Now, they're in the case of state police, they're being paid. So I don't mean it to sound as though they're just volunteers, but they are asking their commanders to send them here. That's how high the morale is.
That's absolutely what I think, like, in a big way.
That may have impacted any of the cameras or technology there that could have aided in his escape.
I cannot speak again to the technology at the prison. That is not my focus at this point in time. My focus is on capturing him. There is an ongoing investigation there that I'm sure will reveal if there was any kind of a failure, or whether it was a failure of an individual or a group of individuals. That will all be determined and acted on appropriately. But for right now, again, the priority for me and our focus is on getting him back into custody.
Well, you do have a sense of where he's going.
I have some ideas. Again, I can't get inside his head. I wish I could. I wish I could go right to where he is. So we use our experience. We use the information that's available to us. And then we also use any number of different techniques to try and push him, to try and get him to make a mistake and detect that mistake when it occurs. Just one second, the gentleman back here.
Can you explain why you can't just have this perimeter and then squeeze in and get it? Obviously, it's not that simple. You would have done it, but
Yes.
why doesn't that work?
For a number of reasons, it doesn't work. First of all, it's not just a perfect open piece of land that you can just march through. You've got businesses, residences, highways, hills, valleys, wooded areas that can't be pushed through. The number of people that it would take to contain that area and be able to walk shoulder to shoulder through that area and squeeze, and the amount of time that it would take, it's just simply not realistic to do that. If we were talking about, one city block or something like that, it would be a different story. It's just too large of an area to be able to squeeze in and push like that.
Yes, Lieutenant Colonel, could you provide an estimate as to how many personnel are currently at Longwood Gardens trying to track this guy down right now? And what tactics and what technology is being used at Longwood Gardens?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't speculate. It'd be a large number of people. We don't break the perimeter, so we're not moving every single person there. We want to keep the perimeter secure while we move response teams there. And so I mentioned, tactical teams, aviation, mounted detail, some other foot searchers besides the tactical teams, canines. All of that is brought to bear. In terms of the specific number, I couldn't give that to you off the top of my head.
Can you just confirm the account of the man who says he broke into his house?
I'm sorry.
There was a report of the man that says that
Yes.
he broke into his house,
Mhm.
and also whether he's using bloodhounds.
We are using tracking dogs. And yes, I believe the account that someone broke in. I'm saying I can't conclusively prove that it was him.
Has he left any traces that you have found? Traces of anything, traces of clothing, food, like the one in Western Pennsylvania campsites? Has he left any traces at all?
We have not recovered anything that I can conclusively say was his at this point.
Lieutenant Colonel, there was a lot of speculation yesterday about his training as a survivalist. A few years back, you led the search for Eric Green in the Poconos. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between that search, which went on for about 48 days, and the search you're currently taking through?
Again, as I said earlier, there are a lot of similarities between any of these searches. The difference there was the level of violence. We knew Freen was armed. And so both very violent individuals, very dangerous individuals. The difference is with Freen, you're hunting for a person with a rifle that will penetrate the body armor of any of the officers that are out there, and did penetrate the body armor of the corporal that he killed. And so it brings a different dynamic to that search. But there are a lot of similarities in the search as well. And again, that's where I tell you that we try to take lessons from all of those and bring those to the next job.
So Longwood Gardens is west of 52. Is that outside your perimeter? And I believe today was the first day it was open. Was it
Yes,
open?
Longwood Gardens proper is out there. They have additional property that is within the perimeter, and it's in the vicinity of that I'm speaking.
And was that area was not open to the public today because it was inside the perimeter?
I can't speak to whether Longwood Gardens had that that piece open or not. There wasn't anybody in there.
So not all of Longwood Gardens is in the perimeter, correct?
Correct.
Do you still have men searching that night?
Yes.
Lieutenant, this is a question maybe for the district attorney or the chief. Neighbors adjacent to the prison spoke to us today about their concerns for their safety, not the first time that someone escaped from prison, but now the second time. They are curious about alerts. In May, they're on record today saying that in May, there was no siren, there was no warning. I know you don't speak for the county, but as the chief law enforcement officer for Chester County, how can you assure these neighbors that they're not everyone for themselves out there on their property?
So I understand that alerts do go out. The first prison escape in May, he was captured within 5 minutes, is my understanding. So I don't even know if there was a time for an alert to go out, but I don't know that information conclusively. They are sending out alerts repeatedly through reverse 911 calls, and they keep expanding the perimeter and the radius to where they send those locations or those notifications. So they are on high alert, and those communities that are affected immediately are alerted right away. So I know that the time frame is very rapid from when they are alerted and until when they have an incident.
Concerned though that, I mean, I know it's under investigation, but this is supposed to be a facility that holds in these dangerous people. This guy is convicted of murder.
Absolutely. You know, this is an outrage. This should have never happened. You know that I was the prosecutor who was assigned to this case, and I helped convict this man, and he was sentenced to life without parole. We're all upset. We're all concerned, and there will be a thorough investigation, and that will be made public at some point. District Attorney Ryan, can you speak to the victim of Deborah for a moment and her family? And I'm assuming that the family has protection right now, even though he's not near them. They do have protection, and they are terrified. They haven't left their home. They're barricaded inside and very concerned about their safety. We do have police detail around them 24 hours a day, but I know they're very, very worried.
Ms. Ryan, when you send him back to Chester County Prison?
He will not be going back to Chester County Prison.
And when captured, what charges might he face? I mean, what does this bring from a criminal liability?
He's charged with escape right now. That's a felony.
Where will he go from Chester County?
He'll go to a state correctional institution.
The one that he was sentenced to?
He hadn't been assigned to anyone yet. He was on the way to Smithfield to be assigned to another location.
Sorry if this is already asked, but will you all release the video of your both escape?
No, we're not focusing on that right now. Our primary mission is to get this guy in custody. That's where all of our attention is focused at this moment.
Ms. Ryan, did your office answer the motion seeking a retrial or a resentencing for this defendant, Mr. Cavalcante? I know the judge denied it, but did your office have a response to their pursuing a retrial?
We did not respond. The judge decided that on his own. Yes. Just a follow-up question for Lieutenant Colonel Bivens. We talked to someone who has taken it upon himself to enter into wooded areas and look for Cavalcante. Obviously, someone who believes they're a vigilante in this case. What is your message to people who may think that they would be empowered to do such things?
First of all, they have no authority other than that of a private citizen to do it. They are risking drawing away law enforcement resources because someone else may see them and report them, and we end up having to go investigate that and draw resources away. So I would ask them not to do it. I can't prevent them from doing it, but they have no authority and run the risk of, depending on what action they take, getting themselves in trouble.
Just to confirm that the most recent sighting, you said was at Longwood Gardens, but it's not Longwood Gardens.
No, I said it was in the vicinity. It was near Longwood Gardens. Yes.
In the vicinity of the property, that's not the primary Longwood Gardens property.
Yes.
Additional within the vicinity.
Yes, sir.
Is it Longwood Gardens property or near Longwood Gardens?
I don't know, sir. I wasn't out there personally on that one. It was in that vicinity. I just know where the report was. It was very close to where the camera was, which was on Longwood Gardens
Lieutenant
property.
Colonel, what would you say to those who say that he's winning right now? It's 8 days. He's up against 100 of your people. You've got technology. He's got barely nothing to eat, and you can't catch him. He's winning so far, not you.
Well, we've chased people for a lot longer than this and ultimately brought them to justice. As I've said before, we're not going anywhere. We will eventually capture him. And when we do, he's going to prison. I don't consider that winning.
There were some neighbors near the area where he was spotted by the creek who were concerned that bloodhounds were being used and that the scent may have been anyway lost in the creek itself. Are bloodhounds part of what you're using to try to track?
I don't have bloodhounds at this particular scene, but I've got other tracking dogs that we have confidence in, and I'm told can perform in a very similar manner. And by the way, we have them from a number of agencies as well.
Just to clarify, so the heat isn't impacting any of
I don't know, guys.
Correct.
Does anybody know much about bloodhounds?
It's something that I am always concerned about, but I'm not prepared to discuss that in any further detail at this point. We are always looking for that, and we continue to look for that, because even if it doesn't happen at the beginning, it sometimes can happen at a later point in the hunt. And so it's something we're always aware of, but I'm not prepared to discuss it any further.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm.
There was a train that was stopped there. The railroads have been cooperative with us for the most part. What they've been doing is stopping at their normal stop, and we can utilize others for surveillance to make sure that no one else boards the train, so that we don't disrupt the train traffic. No, I don't. There have been a number of trains over the last several days.
Are they the ones with like a really loud woof? If that makes any sense.
Relatives in Maryland that he may be trying to get to, something I've heard, but I can't, speculation. Does he have relatives in Maryland? Does he have relatives near here who's trying to get to? Can you tell us anything about what you've talked about?
He has relatives in the general area here. Offhand, I'm not familiar with anyone in Maryland. If he's trying to get to those, I wouldn't be able to tell you that at this point.
Have you spoken to them? Have you tried to get cooperation from them?
We have spoken to relatives, and I can't go any further than that.
Yesterday you said something about, you still believe he's heading south, but you couldn't elaborate on that. Can you go further today?
No.
Mm.
All right. Again, thank you very much for your help in getting this word out, keeping the public informed, and we'll talk afterward here about tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
Ah, so it looks like an update tomorrow. Let's have him before then. Let's not have to wait that long. Good Lord. I don't know what's going on over here, but let's look. Nik the Hat. Let's see here. Have I got the volume going? Oh, okay. He ended up stopping. Let's watch this, and I'll keep watching for. This is Nik the Hat, guys. Where? Right there. No. You come back here. Okay. There we go.
Anybody who has a property that's right in this vicinity with an angle of Longwood Gardens or the surrounding area, the comments are too quick and I'm unable to see that. So shoot me a.
Oh. So he is right where they're saying they want to have all of this, the cops going and what have you. And of course, Jazzy says hello.
Are you guys able to hear and see? It's the signal here. They must be using blockers because the Wi-Fi from the car isn't working as soon as we pull up. So we're gonna have to go around. So right here to our left, there's a command center that just stationed up. As soon as I pull in, the Wi-Fi cuts out and my signal goes to no bars, into SOS mode. So I'm not sure if that's because they have some kind of equipment that is blocking the signal. So we're gonna try to get a clip of the command center. There's no restrictions, there's no roadblock around it, but there are tractor trailers with tactical gear, and there, as soon as you pull in, there's no service. So let's try to go through Longwood. So I'm not going to the press conference. So what I learned last night, and I told you guys that there are 30 guys from BORTAC, which is a border control tactical team. It's one of the leading teams in the country when it comes to high stakes, high risk. No, I'm not going to the presser. When it comes to high stakes and
Okay, back to Nik The Hat. I'll read this to you. This was just put out. Just witnessed a lone police car with its emergency lights on speeding through Longwood. No other activity to report at this time. If nothing else materializes in the next few minutes, I will move into the area. There was potential activity overnight. Stay tuned. So I'm kind of keeping track of that. And in the meantime, let's go through this again. It's very brief.
high risk
Half hour?
investigations and manhunts. So 30 of them are on the ground with 4 Blackhawks that are either here somewhere or inbound. So we're in Longwood Gardens right now. We are going to try
It
to get
really
signal at
is,
the other
Sarah.
location, but I'm just trying to give you guys a little update of what's going on. There's been a lot of activity today, and there really is no update from any of my law enforcement sources, except that it's going to be a busy day. Like I said last night, that it's going to be a very busy day here, and the investigation is ramping up. The federal government is bringing in additional resources to make sure that the fugitive doesn't make it to Delaware. And I'm going to see if we can see the command center from here, which we can't. So when we get close to the command center, it's probably going to cut out, just so you guys know. And if it cuts out, I'm probably going to be back in about 15 minutes. I'm going to go to a better spot. It's odd because as soon as we pull in, the signal cuts off. So
I am watching for a new location. And if I find that he's moved in the interim, we'll bounce over there too. I'm also looking to see if there's updates anywhere else that I can share.
We're going to try to get, once again, we're going to try to pull in and see if the signal stays. So right up here is where the command center is, right in front of me, right over here. So as soon as we make this right at the light, there's a command center set up right on the premises of Longwood Gardens. So I'm about to pull in, and let's see. You guys can see the command center from here. Let's pull to this side for a second. You guys can see the command center getting geared up. I can't go up on the grass over here, but watch yourself. I can't go on the grass, but that's the command center that's posting up. They have federal agents. So you guys can see that there are trucks that say police. I'm sorry that it's shaky. But I don't have the tripod set up in the car. So the command center is right over here, and that looks like where the tractor trailers are gearing up for something. They brought tractor trailers with a lot of gear, tactical vests, computers, all kinds of stuff that I'm assuming they're going to use in connection to the manhunt. Now, to our left, that road is closed with police presence. Yesterday, there was only 1 officer down there. Today, there are 5 that are blocking that road. And this command center looks like it's for the federal government and state government, not for any local law enforcement. There are a lot of federal agents in that area right now, but as soon as we pull in, the service goes away. So what we're trying to do is give you guys a little shot from here. And what I'll do is, if the service goes away when we pull in, and CERT just passed us, you guys can see CERT. CERT is heading into the command center. So that's that green van that you guys have been seeing, and that green van indicates the CERT team. Every time that green van is deployed, it's the CERT team that comes off. So right now, CERT has arrived to the command center. I'm unsure if that means that they are gearing up for an active search or if they're just going to do a push or a sweep through the woods. So again, we're at Longwood Gardens. The gardens are open today, despite the fugitive being seen here. I guess they have reason to believe that he's not at the garden. So the command center is right here on the property. Now, yesterday, all of these roads were closed. This road was closed and that road was closed. That one is still closed. And there were police cars that were blocking this. So today there are no police cars or road barriers for that road. So it's open, but you could only stick around for about a minute or two before you're likely asked to leave. We're not going to pull into the command center for obvious reasons. So I'm going to try to go in closer for you guys to see. And if you don't see and it gets blurry and cuts out, what we're going to do is quickly grab a video, like a little bit, it's called B-roll, just to show you guys a general idea of what it looks like. Probably a 20-second clip. I'll put it up and then we'll go back live from another location. Likely we're going to drive around like we did yesterday and look for the best spot. So again, they brought in 30 agents from that BORTAC team overnight. They came under the cover of darkness, essentially, and they touched ground late last night. And they brought with them 4 Blackhawks that are here for the investigation. And the Blackhawks should be in the air within the next few hours, from what I understand. Today is the day that they are really bringing in the manpower, and it's sort of unprecedented. The law enforcement that I know working this have never seen an operation like this. They've never seen this BORTAC team come to anything that they've worked on. And it's a very interesting elite group of agents that are specially trained, and they're primarily located in Texas. So these guys are with Customs and Border Patrol, but they assist law enforcement in high-risk situations that have a very dangerous, it could be very dangerous to the community. That's why they're here. And they also want to make sure that this guy doesn't cross into Delaware. We're only 5 minutes from Delaware and about 10 minutes, as I said before, from the president's Delaware home. So if he goes toward Delaware, that might be a problem for him regardless, given the security around the home of the president. But they don't want him to leave this area. They don't want him to go to Delaware. So they are really zeroing in with every single resource. And I hear choppers. I'm not sure if it's a news helicopter above us, but they're really gearing up. And this is the longest I've seen them gearing up for. I mean, they're unloading tractor trailers and they're getting ready for something. So we're going to pull in right now. And if it loses, we'll be back in about 15 minutes, but I'll grab a video of it. Okay. So we're going to head in right now. Let's pull in. And if it cuts out, just be ready for it to cut out, just so you guys know. And yeah, they were searching trains this morning. And then, as you guys know, last night there was police activity. As we were getting ready to leave, a call came in from the command center. I got a text that said that there's going to be activity related to the investigation there. They didn't give me much information except for responding, and it's in connection to the manhunt. And it was on Fairville Road in Chadds Ford. Now, we accidentally beat the police to the location. And if that's NBC, it's showing, here's the command center. Keep going, don't slow down like that. And turn around, like make a U-turn. So you guys can see that it's, and that's the officers I'm talking about across the way. Did the service stay? Were you guys able to hear fine? Because if you were, we're gonna pull up and we're gonna park there for a second. Okay, so let's do that again. We're gonna make the left over the bridge again. So it worked. Okay, so what we're gonna do then is we're gonna park up and we're gonna get a better shot. We just did a little loop, so we didn't raise any flags over there for them to ask us to leave, because we wanted to, if it didn't work, we were gonna come back and get a clip and then upload that to Twitter and then come to another scene. So since it worked, we're gonna make a left, do that little loop around Longwood Gardens once more and pull back in. And I'll be able to stand there for about 3 minutes to try to get as much as we can without any interference, obviously. But there are no police behind us guarding this area, and there are no road closed signs. So the road is not restricted. And I've been saying this for the past 7 days. We're not going to go in any restricted areas. Last night, when we responded to that potential, I don't know if it was a sighting, I don't know what it was. We beat the police there, so there was no perimeter, and that wasn't our intention. So we were gonna get out of the neighborhood, and that's when 3 state troopers pulled up to us, and they didn't know where they were. They asked us if we knew how to get to 1217 Fairville. They obviously, I guess, don't have GPS, so they started driving off, and then more state troopers asked us again, do you guys know how to get to that location? And that's been a problem that we've been seeing for days, where there have been troopers that are so far away from this area that don't know where they are, and they have no clue about the neighborhood, that's why it's crucial to keep local law enforcement in the loop, which they did last night. But I'm not sure what happened at that location and if it panned out to be anything. But throughout the night, there were planes hovering around in circles for hours on end with helicopters. So it was very fluid in some sense, and the police response was rather quick. We were close by. That's why we beat the police there. We were finishing our driving tour to show you guys the neighborhood and show you the route that he might have not show you the route, but show you why it's so hard to find somebody like this, with all of the brush and with all of the woods and the heavy shrubs, and I mean everything. It's very dense. So we showed you guys that. And
I think it's amazing that this guy is doing this. I think really all the reason he's doing this is honestly to get it out. I don't think he's got like any kind of bad intentions. I think he's doing a terrific job. And I'm grateful actually that there's somebody out doing this, because otherwise it'd be pretty quiet, wouldn't it? Jeepers creepers.
as we were leaving, the call came in. It's cutting in and out. Okay, so it's probably this spot. So what we're gonna do is, as we pull in, it should come back. It's gonna come back in about a second. This area has terrible connection, just so you guys know. So we're gonna do one more lap. And yeah, that's what I'm hearing, that they're not letting independent journalists in, which is very bizarre. Actually, I've never heard of that at a press conference. Really, even at like White House press conferences, you're able, if you go through the clearance, you're able to get credentials to go. So it's really weird that they're restricting it, and it's almost like they want the questions to be limited to what narrative I guess they want to have, or they don't want random citizens in there because of the media presence, and that there are cameras live just in case somebody says something that can be offensive and scream something. That could be the reason why they're restricting access, but I'm not even going, and I doubt they would. I don't know if they would restrict my access. I haven't tried. I don't think they would. So but that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that they are not letting independent journalists in to the presser, which is fine. At the presser, we went, we got what we wanted, and that was about it. I told you from the outset, we're not really here to go to the press conferences, and we're not here to cover the any of the press conferences. I mean, there's enough media there that the updates are in real time, and you guys can watch it live from their feed much better then you would be able to watch on this feed. My purpose was only to ask and pose certain questions that the community wanted answered. So I did that, and that was it. So we did what we wanted to do, and I have no intention of even going to the command center, or I'm sorry, to the press conference. So we're gonna pull back in toward the command center, and if they don't want people at the command center, they would have a roadblock, so they don't. So again, the command center is right here in front of us. So we're gonna turn back in, and we're gonna park for about 2 minutes and get an angle and then head out. So not turn around, like, and go to that exit sign. So as you guys can see, it's pretty fluid. Don't stop.
There's a lot of residential in there.
Get
Like,
front
that's
over here
yipes.
and get a shot. So Hong is showing you guys the command center. You guys can see it's pretty fluid.
Yes.
They're prepping for something. The tractor trailer.
Yes. Well said.
There was a tractor trailer here when we initially tried to show you guys earlier, but it's not here right now. I'm not sure if they moved it. Hong, is it there? No. So Hong went into the area, and here I actually have a photo of the tractor trailer I'm talking about. So give me a second. I'm going to show you guys the photo. Here. This is the photo of the command center, or of the tractor trailer that was there earlier. They had 2 of them, and they have gear hanging from the doors, and they had 2 of these large trucks, and they were parked literally right over there. And there's a smaller one there now. So all right, we're gonna head out. Let's go. So it looks like obviously we don't want to stick around here. So that's the command center that's going on right now. So we're gonna head back up towards the area of, I guess, the perimeter. We're trying to find out what's going on and where the best angles are. We're getting texts from a lot of residents that are allowing us to use their property. So we'll be back in about, I guess, 15-20 minutes. I'll stay on for a little bit as we head toward let me double check. I believe we're heading toward Carco. So we're going to head toward Carco, and from there I'm going to let you guys go if there's no activity while we figure out exactly where we're going to head. So Carco is about 5 minutes from here. It freezes here, so see if we can slowly, if there's no cars, we'll make a right before it goes. And that's what I think. I think that they're bringing in additional resources just because they want to make sure that if he's not here, they need to go to Delaware or expand their search. And these guys have that kind of capability where they can bring this equipment and figure out if he's here and bring it to a rapid end or relocate. And it's obviously a federal issue when you're so close to another state line. The Pennsylvania State Police clearly said yesterday that they have no authority in Delaware, and the authorization to use lethal force is in Pennsylvania. So they would need to coordinate with officials in Delaware to get that authorization in another state, or the federal government would intervene and take over, which is that's also a possibility if it goes into Delaware. Now, the federal government has been involved from the outset. U.S. Marshals were here Thursday morning by 11 o'clock, and he escaped sometime between 8 and 8:40 in the morning. And there are, I believe it's just news helicopters that are above us. So what we're going to do is go to Carco, and from there we're going to find a location where there's a vantage point. A lot of farms have given us permission to go. Again, the county is very grateful of the coverage, so everybody is the DMs are pouring in with, come to our address, you're welcome on this property, you can use our business.
Nice.
So essentially we have contacts at almost every section, every point of interest.
Nice.
Those contacts sees activity before the roads. And if that happens, we'll be able to be on that private property. So when we're on private property, we can't be asked to leave unless the homeowner or the property owner asks us to leave. But obviously, what we're not going to do is hinder any investigation. So if it's a possibility of any sort of hindering by being in that area, we're going to not stream. But I find that unlikely, as we've been in some very active areas in the past, and there have been no issues with us staying because it was on private property. And you guys saw Matt; he was able to FaceTime us from his home as the authorities were ramping up their search effort after the sighting at Waterglen and searching the woods. So today they have a busy day ahead of them. That's what they told me yesterday, which is why they left rather early at around 10:30 at night. A lot of the tactical teams went home for the night to get rest. They had to get rest, rehydrate, and essentially shower. They've been in the woods for days on end. So
I'm just going through looking for stuff on this guy, and it's kind of like totally off topic, but is it Johnny Matheson? The guy that used to, let's see here, right here. So Danny Masterson, 30 years to life is what he got. 30 years to life. Well, 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 well. I don't know. This is the stuff he was doing. Bye-bye.
they got a little break overnight, so today they can go in heavy, and it's very hot outside. It's 95 degrees. So for those guys, they're wearing tactical gear, vests, I mean heavy equipment. So it could literally, if they're not
from that
hydrated and
70s
rested,
show.
they could pass out, and that's not what they want to happen. Now the suspect,
Yep.
I'm not
Book
sure
him
how he's able to maintain
down.
movement in this atmosphere with this kind of weather. So maybe the fact that he was from Brazil and the weather there is obviously much worse than this, but you still need water. It doesn't matter what country or what area you're from. If you're human, you need to have fresh water. You need nutrients. You need to have a good, somewhat
Follow the
diet going. And this guy's on his
water.
second week on the run, and I don't believe he's getting any food of nutritional value, so to say. So yeah, we're losing connection again. So what we're gonna do, guys, is likely cut the feed and come back from a better location, likely at a residence house. And the press conference is on, so definitely
Got a
watch
little
the
bit
press. We're
more.
at Longwood, and there's no activity here.
A little
right
bit
now.
more before he gets off. And he doesn't give an update yet. I am
Are you
watching him.
Somebody says
And
it right
I've
in
got a
front of us.
couple of things up we can
So,
look
We're
at.
back at
But
Longwood Gardens. We're going to Carco, and we were right here yesterday at this stop sign.
nothing going live
not
about
like
getting him or catching
going
him or
in. We
chasing
were
him.
coming out, and that's when we found out that the police were responding to that location up the street, just 5 minutes away. And around that location, there were a lot of there were bodies of water. There were train tracks, and those train tracks lead to Ace Hardware. So those tracks have been heavily monitored, and you guys saw that over the weekend. You guys want us to stay at Longwood Gardens for a few? I don't think the federal assistance has nothing to do with the president. It's the fact that there is a convicted murderer on the loose, and that is obviously of grave concern for not just local authorities or state officials, but for the feds. They need to make sure that this guy is captured, and they want to bring it to a peaceful resolution. And as you guys heard over and over again, if it can't end peacefully and if he doesn't actively surrender, they have the authorization to shoot him and use deadly force. There was a call about Longwood Gardens right now, so we'll stay in the area of Longwood Gardens for you guys in case we see something, in case we see a response. But since the gardens are open, it would be rather unusual. But again, everything
Book
that
him,
we thought before
Dano.
has
Book
kind
him.
of turned on its head. Everything that we thought would be unusual, he snuck out of the perimeter So obviously everything is on the table. Yeah, let's we're gonna loop around. So let's make a right here. I'm not sure where this sighting would be. I'm gonna text somebody once we pull into this so we can try to, not the best area, so let's turn up like this and make a U-turn. It looks like this is a staff entrance. So we're gonna find a spot. Yeah, let's go over there and find a parking lot and post up for a second unless we see some activity, and I can text some law enforcement sources to see if there's
Nothing
anything of value
yet.
for that sighting. We're gonna go to the parking lot straight ahead. Who's right? Katie Riley. Okay. I'm gonna look for your message in a second. Just, I guess, pull to the side here for a minute. All right, guys, watch out. We gotta go. Can't park here. Or wait, let's see if so. Oh, it's construction. Never mind. So what? Let me check DMs from Katie. She says she lives nearby. Did you send me a DM? Did you guys did Katie, did you send me a DM? Anybody who has a property that's right in this vicinity with an angle of Longwood Gardens or the surrounding area, uh, the comments are too quick and I'm unable to see that. So shoot me a DM, Katie. So anybody in the surrounding area, definitely send us a text. And yeah, if the presser was useless, that's probably why they didn't want anybody else going. And typically, even members of the public can go to press conferences, especially if they're from the community. Obviously, not at some of them, like the White House, you can't go there. But for the most part, they're usually open for the public and members of the media, of course. But it's very unusual that they would close it off. I'm looking through the um, DMs to find out where people are locating. No, I don't see any Blackhawks here. Checking. Let's see what's going on, guys. So, for those of you that are just getting on, I'm sorry, hold on, let me make sure that is there a sighting. I just asked if there's a sighting at Longwood. So I'm waiting for a response to see if it's something legitimate or if they're even here yet. So I'll know in a few. So again, we're gonna likely find a better spot. This is a terrible one. Somewhere with a little bit of activity. I'm gonna go through and find the contacts I have. I had to start making a list of areas of interest and then properties that have given us permission because it's become such a massive perimeter compared to what it was before, where we definitely need a. You guys are saying 8 confirmed sightings. We definitely need a
Yeah, I was. Thank you. I was just kind of looking for him under his Twitter to see if there had been an update, and there's nothing yet. So he thought he'd be gone for an hour. So that last post was like a half hour ago. And he said he was moving where he thought there was possible activity last night. Thank you, Dandy. Can you hear me okay now? Is that all better? Oh, you bet. Hear me roar. You absolutely bet. Yeah. How's the volume now, my friends? Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Thank you very much. So nothing yet from Nik the Hat. He was gone he last seen us about 30 minutes ago. Ooh, I'll share this with you guys. Let's do this. It's a little bit side. Thank you, you guys. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. So I don't care who you are. You should be punished appropriately if you are word. R is a scar that can no, that's not a scar that does heal. Sorry. No, it never goes away. And that is a scar that stays for life. So actor Danny Masterson sentenced to 30 years. Let's see if we can, let's check him out. Damn. Good. Good. Let's read the article. Well, hello, Connor. Good to see you, friend. Good to see you. Okay. Just a little bit on the side, right? I mean, what a creep. What a creep. So let's see here. Actor Danny Masterson sentenced to 30 years to life on an R conviction. There you go. There you go. Bye-bye. Go play with the big boys now. So is this, do I have to enlarge this? I think I will for you guys. Do you know what? That was like one of my absolute favorite shows. Like, what? No, not you, frickin' creep. I have very strong opinion, very strong, when it comes to people that behave this way. So, yeah. Let's just say bye-bye. So let's see here. I am going to get into this. Washington Post. So if you're new here or first joining us, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Best family you will ever have. I promise you that. Okay, Washington Post. Give me 2 seconds here. So he's known for his role as Stephen Hyde on the sitcom That 70s Show, was just sentenced Thursday, which is today, to 30 years to life in prison for R-wording 2 women at his home in California in the early 2000s. Good on them. You know, good on them. Oh, what have you got going on here? Yep. Now starting to sentence the folks that take advantage of children the same way. Darn straight, friend. Darn straight. So who went on this guy, Masterson? He went off of cliff? I loved that show. I mean, truly, I think Kelso was like my favorite human ever. Oh, it is, Connor. I agree. What a shame, eh? But you did notice well, I did notice at the end of the show, like when they were starting to wind down, there's a little bit of a difference with his behavior, I was thinking. But I don't know if something was going on or if it was just my imagination. Hydrating. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Kelso made the show. He did. He absolutely did. Yeah, I still watch it. Absolutely. Just give me 2 seconds and I'm just going to check that feed again. So let's see, anything 37 minutes ago. And that's when when he said he'll be back. So let's look into hide. So Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Charlene Almedo handed down the sentence Thursday to Masterson, who sat in the court wearing a suit. Mr. Masterson, I know that you're sitting here steadfast in your claims of innocence, and thus no doubt feeling victimized by a justice system that has failed you. Olmedo told Masterson before issuing the sentence per AP. Not sure what that is, but Mr. Masterson, you are not the victim here. Your actions 20 years ago. Wow, hey? Yeah, this is it. Like the normal Joe cannot go back 20 years and go, you know what? They did this, or he did this, or she did this. The average person cannot. So, I mean, good on them. Your actions 20 years ago took away another person's voice and choice. One way or another, you will have to come to terms with your prior actions and their consequences. Like, what do they not realize that the women live with this for the rest of their life? It's like it'll haunt you until you die. I can guarantee it. The former sitcom star or actor, I suppose, watched as his accusers recounted the trauma they experienced, according to, yeah, it must be the paper, AP. I'm thinking. So when you R-worded me, you stole from me, said one of the unnamed women who accused him of R-wording in 2003. That's what R is. Theft. Oh, whoa. Well said. Theft of a spirit. You are a pathetic, disturbed, completely. And she added, the world is better off with you in prison. You know what? Damn straight. If the guy's guilty, bye-bye. Into population you go. The other woman who Masterson was found guilty of R-wording said the actor belonged behind bars for the safety of all women he came into contact with. I am so sorry and I'm so upset. I wish I'd reported him sooner to the police. You know what? These people get scared though. I mean, what's it going to do? What are people going to say about them? How is it going to affect their reputation? How is this? How is that? Like, wow, for someone to stand up, it takes a lot at any age. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. So the defense sought for the two sentences to run concurrently, according to the AP. Masterson's attorney, Sean Hawley, told the judge that the actor's life will be impacted by what you decide today. Yeah. And the life of his 9-year-old daughter. Now, that is sad. That is sad. But what the hell was he thinking? There was no consequences because he was what? Hide? Come on. And I'm sorry that his daughter sadly will have to pay for his, and we do, like it impacts it impacts the family. Yeah. Hyde ended up being ish. Los Angeles District Attorney George Gaston said in a statement Thursday that the sentencing came after a long and arduous road. Let me just double check something. Woo, woo. Okay. So one of my top priorities is to ensure that Los Angeles will no longer be a hunting ground for a Hollywood elite who feel entitled to prey on women, Gascon said. In May of, let's try that one again. In May, a Los Angeles jury found Masterson, who's 47, guilty of 2 counts of forcible R during a retrial of the case that involved, 3 women. That the actor was convicted on R wording 2 of the women, while a mistrial was declared in the 3rd count and later dismissed. Representatives for Masterson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So if anyone just pops in and wonders why we're not talking about Danelo, well, there's just nothing up right now. And we just learned that this guy got 30 years to life in prison for his actions. So I am watching to see if Nik The Hat's doing anything. And I've been watching the news stations as well. And I'm not seeing anything yet. If anyone sees something different, feel free to let me know in the chat and I will find it. So after the sentencing, Asan Anderson, a partner at Boyes, Schiller, Flexner, and attorney for 2 of the women, said they showed tremendous strength and bravery, big time, for coming forward to law enforcement and participating directly in 2 grueling criminal trials. Despite the persistent harassment, obstruction, and intimidation, this is the stuff. These courageous women helped hold a ruthless predator accountable. 2 days, she said. Masterson's sentencing comes after years of investigation and accusation. The actor has long denied the allegations, as they do, against him and pled not guilty during his 2 trials, arguing that he had consensual with the women. But prosecutors told the jurors that the actor did some bad stuff. The women's drinks so he could, take advantage of that situation. Oh my God. So he used connections to the Church of Scientology to evade consequences. The sentencing comes after years of investigation and a mistrial that ended with deadlock jury in November 2022. Damn. Doesn't that just that just dampens every single darn thing. Okay, let me see what's going on here, friends. So, authorities are planning an unusual get-together for members of the media at the command center tomorrow morning. The event is designed to showcase the technology they're using in the manhunt. Coffee and snacks will be provided. It's an odd move given the situation. I'm still on the lookout for ongoing activity. We'll keep you posted. And then let's see here. There's a couple of them. Oh, those are the responses. People are just not happy. Just not happy. So that right now is his update. So I will keep my eyes pasted for that. Alrighty, Nik The Hat. So the actor was first arrested and charged in November 2020 after 3 investigations during the #MeToo era. Masterson was accused of R-wording 3 women between 2001 and 2003. All 3 women said they alleged happened in his home at the Hollywood Hills area of Los Angeles. And at the time, they were members of the Church of Scientology. Oh my God. Unreal. In addition to his role on that 70s show, along with Ashton Kutcher, I can't remember how to, Mila Kunis, Topher Grace, Masterson had a career revival on the show. Oh, The Ranch, didn't have a clue. And it debuted in 2016. After 1 year later, he was fired from the program after the HuffPost posted an article detailing R-word allegations against him. So, yeah, that's what's going on with him. Just gross. Absolutely gross. Exactly. Right? This is the thing. Those men don't realize the consequences for the victims. And that's the worst part of it. You know, they make such a massive impact on a person's life that a lot. This sentence, okay, I don't find that too tough at all. You know, to life. Well, do you know what you did to these girls for their life? Like, oh my God. Good. You do the crime, you do the time. If he treats women like that, I wouldn't want him around a female child for real. Right? I hear you. If there's a feed we can watch of his oh yeah. Absolutely. I'm in. That's what I think too, Dandy. He thought that he was home free because he's famous. I'd love to see the look on his face at sentencing. Absolutely. I bet it shocked the out of him. I'm sure of it. I'm going to check Nik The Hat here. So I have some real life things I have to do for a while. But what I'm going to do is I will be back. I'll keep watching Nik The Hat and I'll keep watching for updates. And I will try and get things done that I need to get done in the interim. So guys, I really appreciate you. You know I do. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I'll absolutely, I used to idolize him. Now, isn't that the thing, Connor? Like, sayonara. Ay, ay, ay. So guys, thank you so much for being with me. I am going to keep, as you know, my eyes peeled. And yeah, maybe we will do a Danny Masterson in there somewhere too, because I mean, people should be pooping their pantyhose. Like, the girls are coming to get them. So, I mean, if you, just like Dandy said, you do the time or do the crime, be prepared to do the time. Because if you're out there doing that to women, you deserve to be gone. That was my spiel. So I'll see you guys later, Skater. Bye.